We back,
Oh.
niggas. Well, welcome back to the Lit Library, friends. I am one of your hosts, Chandra, and we are again on the road to BRBF. But before we get to our special guest today, I am going to have my co-host, but one, introduce themselves. Hey, Jaleesa girl.
Hello. Happy Friday, gentle readers.
Why are you talking to them like that? Okay, anyway, hey Candace. I'm
trying something new.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Well, hello everybody. This is CM Barnes. Glad to be here on the road to BRBF.
Dog Design, man. How you doing today, girl? What's cracking?
Hello. Doing good. What's up?
Hey, and our resident baby muffer, the lady carrying our nephew. Hi, Bree.
Hey.
How art thou?
I'm doing good. I'm feeling good.
Okay, great. We love to hear that. Take care of that baby, because I don't have to take care of you.
Okay.
Amazing.
Y'all go hard for y'all nephew.
And
that was aggressive.
Okay, but that's the lit baby. Okay, I gotta make sure him
That's
good.
fair.
Yes.
My bad. Anyway, I'm gonna pass it on over to Dr. Jarman to introduce our special guest today.
Yes, thank you, darling. And tonight we are back on the road to the Black Romance Book Festival. I know we are so excited for that. And we are joined by an amazing author, Frederick Smith, a Detroit native that started off as a news anchor before transitioning into writing and higher education. Some of his work highlights some of the everyday lives and experiences of Black and queer romances and experiences, and often highlights the importance of uplifting our queer elders and that intergenerational connection. Welcome, Anchor Fred. Take it away for us.
Thank you very much. I'm so happy to be here with you all today. I listen to the Lit Library all the time. In fact, I did a re-listen this morning of the Waiting to Exhale discussion from a few months ago.
Yes.
It's time for me to reread that book.
Yeah. So, as an adult woman,
such a good book, and
it's a good book as an older woman. Like, it was a good book then, but you didn't really understand a lot of the things.
Yeah.
And then life grows you up, and you're like, oh snap! I see myself in a lot of these women. Yeah, it's a good
really
book.
good. And I feel some kind of way because I moved about 6 years ago from LA to San Francisco, and I got rid of a bunch of books. I donated them and gave them away to friends. I gave away my original cover. Waiting to Exhale.
Oh no.
With the hats. Yeah. And the black backdrop, and I'm regretting
I'm looking for that book.
Yeah, I gotta find it.
I've seen a few copies, but they like $150+, and I'm like, I really have to stop spending that much money on a book that costs $19.99.
Exactly.
And if we're being honest, because I was looking at my shelf just now trying to see if that's the one that I had. I don't have that copy. However, my mama got a bunch of books up in that closet that I know she ain't touched. And I don't know how long. I'm going to go digging through there.
Go dig through there.
Like, if you can't go crate digging in your mama closet, where can you go crate digging?
Exactly.
I found a Prada. I got a Prada bag from that lady closet earlier this week. I said, I don't know what I'm gonna wear with this, but I'm gonna take it.
My mama is like low-key a hoarder too, so I know she got them books in it. If that lady still got her graduation gown from 19 whenever the hell, then I know she got the first edition of Waiting to Exhale in that goddamn house. I just gotta find it.
It's sometimes, only sometimes, there's a little bit of value in hoarding because I don't keep nothing, and that's my problem now. I throw the kids' artwork away. It's got a statute of limitations on it, because how much can I collect? How many bumblebees can one woman look at?
Not you be switching out the art gallery in the house.
I have to switch it.
You low-key have to.
So having your graduation gown from that long ago, I salute your mother. because I think I only have my master's though. I don't have anything else. I don't know where it's at. And the tassels, but I had to put them in a frame. That's it. I don't know where anything else is at.
I don't know when it was. I just know it's old as hell. And if I could find that, I can find Waiting to Exhale. So, Frederick, I'm sorry you did that to yourself. But for me, I'm going to try to find it.
I know.
I know. We're so happy to have you here,
I'm
Frederick.
really
You've
happy to be here too. I really
been
love
such
your
a huge
show. I
supporter
love
of
you all.
us.
Yes, yes,
We
yes,
didn't
yes.
get to see you at Black Romance, but it was my first book event. And
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what is going on? Oh no, my tism is acting up. I gotta go sit down. I've had enough for right now.
That's crazy.
It
Yeah,
was a lot of people at one
it's
time.
a lot of people, and
I-
a lot of people. And I remember, being there in 2025, and I had only done like one or two big book events before. But the thing about Black Romance Book Fest that just felt so special was that one, it was by, for, and about Black authors, and especially
Mm-hmm.
lovers of Black romance. But then also, and I remember joking about this with Tati Richardson. We're both like, we ain't never had lines. We never had lines before, waiting for us, people waiting to see us. Like that was really, really, really exciting. And it just showed me how much and how passionate people are about Black romance authors and everything, the ones they know and the ones that they're discovering. So yeah, yeah, I love Black romance. I think it's my favorite of all of the book events I've done.
Okay.
That's real.
Now,
yeah.
I would have to agree. As a reader. Now, with that being said, since we are talking about romance, which romance novel do you feel like changed your life or inspired you to write?
Mm. So so I grew up sneaking and reading. So I know Terry McMillan is not necessarily romance, but we all used to sneak and read those when we were, kids. But like Elon Harris, who has elements of male romance in his novels. Some are romance, some are just more fiction. Elon Harris really was an inspiration to me. And for people who don't know who Elon Harris is, I kind of consider him the godfather of gay male romance, and who really modernized gay male fiction, mostly in the 90s and 2000s. He's Black. He grew up in Flint, Michigan, but with some roots in Arkansas as well, and which is such an inspiration in terms of like thinking about how his career started with him selling books out of the trunk of his car or going into barber shops and beauty shops and peddling the book that way, and how eventually with like little to no assistance from publishers until he got picked up by one, was able to become a New York Times bestseller like 10 times over, with stories about Black gay men. Like, and who knew people would be that open and that accepting of these books back in the 90s? But Elon Harris is someone, he's no longer with us. He passed in 2009, but he's someone who, I looked up to and I continue to look up to as an inspiration for writing. And I hope that for newer generations that many people can continue to carry his legacy on, in the industry. So I'll say Elon Harris, but then I also got to say Beverly Jenkins. Beverly Jenkins
Yes.
is just like top notch to me. I feel like reading anything by Beverly Jenkins, I feel like I get a fulfilling story, a thorough story, definitely well written and researched, and also because she's a fellow Detroiter as well, and so I always look up to her and her career, and I was really happy hearing her on your show, in February 2026. That was really great to hear her talk with you all, and so yeah, I would say Beverly Jenkins, Elon Harris are like two of my literary role models who inspire me to write and also inspire me to write better. Like when I read Beverly Jenkins, I'm like, that's real writing. Like I want to write like Beverly Jenkins. Like that's real writing. And so, which is not to discount from anyone else who's writing, but I feel like Beverly Jenkins is someone we all can learn from.
Yes.
I was
You're
gonna say,
right.
she's
Thank you.
You're
Thank
not
you.
lying.
Thank you. I'm so glad you said that.
and I just wanted to remind everybody that Beverly Jenkins is indeed the Lit Library's very close personal friend, just in case
Absolutely.
y'all
Yes.
forgot.
This is very
Absolutely.
true.
But
And I feel like,
go ahead, Diamond.
oh, I was just gonna say, I feel like that's very evident in your upcoming book, with the flowers that you give in Love as a Contact Sport, you see that love for Beverly Jenkins and Elin Harris. So thank you for sharing that.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, those elements of the romance and their love for reading with and to each
Mm-hmm.
other. Yes, very romantical.
Yes.
Just very glad that you are an author that was like, yeah, I go back and read the classics. I go back and read the leaders of Black Romance Book Fest because that's what they are. But a lot of folks don't do that, so I
Absolutely.
appreciate that
No,
you do.
because let me tell you, I saw something that pissed me off today on Threads.
Here you go.
Just no, it's not what you're thinking. I brought some couth with me today
Okay,
for now.
I'm sorry.
For now, it's crazy. Right.
Your bestie, Miss Brenda Jackson, was posting about her upcoming book, and nobody was reposting it, and that pissed me off. Y'all are not paying, like, y'all are not following instructions. You're not listening.
To anything.
You're not doing what we tell you to do, and I don't like when people don't do what I tell them to do. So sorry. It
And you
bothers
know,
me.
like,
We told y'all to go read the legends, get into their catalogs, see what you might be missing and could add to your pen. The
Oh,
yearning.
Lord.
but
Because
that
wasn't there a good conversation about doing things for the plot versus doing things to advance the story? Just doing
Mhm.
things to do it versus doing things to advance the story and make it good. I saw that conversation when I was supposed to be paying attention in Arkansas. And and it was such a good conversation because the people that I like, Jaleesa and Chandra, it wasn't malicious, but it was a real conversation. Like, are you just doing stuff for shock value or are you giving depth to your story? And I think the legends do things that give their stories depth. So, like, I don't know, it wasn't enough reposts for me. Didn't like it.
Well, that also, to your point, means that like we appreciate all of our listeners, right? But we need more authors to listen to the podcast about authorship. Like we need them to listen to the episodes. And I think that some of the issue is that some authors do not want to listen to people that came before them. And so, okay, Frederick, obviously you are a lover of
Yes.
romance. So like what was your take on just making sure that you're reading people of yesteryear to influence your writing? Like we know Beverly Jenkins and Elin Harris, but other people like
Yeah, yeah.
what is your thought on that?
Yeah, so one, I think it's important for people who are authors to read, first of all. Sometimes it's shocking when I hear writers and authors say they don't read. Um, I'm like, we gotta read. And I understand that even when we're in the middle of writing, sometimes we have to slow it down a little bit because we don't want those thoughts getting in our head. But I think it's important for us just to read, just to keep track of what the current marketplace is and not just what's trending, but kind of seeing what readers are responding to. But I think that going back to some of the the veterans, well, one, I think it helps us not take for granted the struggles that they had getting into the
Mhm.
industry in the first place. Um, I mean, it's just like with anything, we got to pay homage to the struggle and how people opened doors and paved roads for us and everything. But then I also think just from a craft point of view, I always want to get better with every book that I write. And I think that studying some of the legends, we can, by reading their stuff, we can get better with our craft.
Mhm.
And also, like, whenever they do have a chance to offer any kind of workshops or just chances to listen and learn from them, I want to take that because, for me, it's important to always try to be better and do better. And, I grew up being one of those teachers' pets and listening to my teachers and principals. And so I feel
Mhm.
like I owe it to listen to people like Donna Hill and Brenda Jackson and Beverly Jenkins and, even some of the contemporary people that we look up to. It's just important to listen and learn from them and everything. There's nothing wrong with continuing to learn. So I think that's what I think about when I think about the legends and learning from them and everything. But I think there's a lot we can learn from our peers as well and new writers as well because
Mhm.
it just you know, I think there's a lot we all can learn from each other.
Absolutely. Like you should never stop learning and never stop growing with that.
Absolutely.
I do have a fun question for
Okay.
you. Um, what is your favorite Whitney Houston song? If it is not Love is a Contact Sport.
Okay. My favorite Whitney Houston song is, I think they're all from The Bodyguard. So Run to You. I love Run to You. And
Taste.
like there's this one lyric around like late at night, I come home and turn the key. There's nobody there. And I just think about someone who is super successful, super busy, has the world loving them, and then they go home to have to be with
Nobody.
themselves. And so those
Mhm.
lyrics have always just kind of resonated and stuck with me. I also like I Have Nothing. It's just this big dramatic ballad, you know. And it's so funny every time I go out somewhere, anytime those songs come on, Run to You or I Have Nothing, the whole restaurant or bar will just sing out, will, you know, burst out in the song singing them because they're just such classics and everything. So I think those two are two of my favorites. And of course, I like, of course, I Want to Dance with Somebody. That's just, you know, everyone's jam. But I think
Absolutely.
those are my three favorites. What about you all? Whitney songs you like?
Oh, my number one Whitney Houston song is I Have Nothing.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
it's hands down my favorite song.
My
Mhm.
favorite Whitney Houston song is
I'm gonna
Heartbreak
say something
Hotel.
crazy.
Now listen,
Oh
I
now
Lord.
knew.
listen,
I'm not surprised at all. I'm
now
not
listen,
surprised.
8-year-old me had a lot going on, okay? And now I don't know what she had going on, but bitch, I was singing down when that song came out, and I will play it in my shower to this day. And I'm singing Whitney, Faye, and Kelly Potts, all the ad libs. Don't catch me in the shower no time soon, cause you gonna hear it. Okay, Bree, do you have
I'm
a
so
favorite Whitney
sorry.
Houston song?
Sometimes you make me think you was like such a goth emotional child. Like you was like
You would think that.
you were
You
so into so much grown ass shit that was a little bit sad, right? Yeah.
I remember my daddy walking past my room one day, and he asked my mama why is she watching BET, and my mama looked at him and said, "You watch it." So that was the end of the conversation.
I am
Going through it.
hollering. Okay, I'm sorry. I was just like, God, my friend was so young, experiencing life while not
For no,
experiencing
while
life.
experiencing
Like,
nothing, okay? It was the Barbies that was going through it, not me, girl. So I
nothing
didn't know what
was
was going
making
on.
your Barbies go through a divorce. I am hollering.
We'll talk about it another day, okay? You don't have to expose me like this.
No, because little kids do role play dramatic, and I got an 8-year-old to prove it. Because why they be in there like, let them be in there like, and you gon' clean that room up like I told you to. And I'm like,
Well, she learned that from somebody, but anyway.
I got a funny story that's gonna make y'all day better real quick. Hold on. I was in Arkansas. Kids didn't
Oh
have
my
school
God.
Tuesday. I get a text from London and she's like, "Can't you just hurry up and come home?" I said, "What's wrong?" She said, "Every time I turn around, she ain't here making me clean something. She is my mother, her grandmother.
He is crazy.
Because you know you have pissed a child off when they give you a she, he, they, them. They don't call you because any other time it's gram this, gram that. She's in here making me clean everything. I said, "What do you mean?" She's like, every time she get up, I gotta clean this room up." I say, "Well, if I was home, you would still have to clean your room up." You know what she told me? "Oh, okay, go back to work.
She said, "You
not
have done
helping.
nothing. You're useless at this
Go back to
point.
work."
Bye. I'm gonna just be
Yeah.
Cinderella
Oh
by
my
myself right
God.
now."
Go back to work. Yeah.
I'm not about to
Yeah.
play with y'all.
It's like, oh, okay, will do.
Not
I
really.
Want to Dance with Somebody is my favorite Whitney song. It's so fun. It's so fun.
It is a
Like,
good
That's
song.
probably my
but
favorite
because
too.
like prior to the end of her life, we just saw so much sadness in Whitney, and like going back in her catalog, Whitney was having a blast
Yeah.
when she could really be herself. I Want to
Yep.
Dance with Somebody is like my favorite Whitney song.
I like that one
Mhm.
too.
That's a good
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
I like I'm your baby tonight too, even though I don't live by that.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
That's
that's
my
Baby
that's my like
tonight.
1A song.
okay.
Like that's right
Okay.
underneath. There's I have
Got
nothing and it's
tears.
like right there.
Yeah.
Diamond say, I don't know that life,
That's
but I
so
do like that
right.
song.
Diamond said, I am not your baby tonight.
Unless it's everybody. That's neither here or there.
Yeah.
You gotta have some
Yeah.
dollars, okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So
Now,
I know you've already mentioned Elin Harris as one of your inspirations, but who are some of your favorite queer authors? It could be from any time
Mhm.
period. Do you have any others?
Yeah. So I got to hang out with like I love Carmen Lee and Mika James, who were both at BRBF in 2025, and I think they'll be
Hmm.
back this year if I
Yes.
remember the
I
post
believe so.
correctly.
Yes.
So
They're gonna be there.
I love both of their, you know, sapphic romance novels. I love them. And I love that small town series that Carmen Lee does. Um I like Julian Winters, who was at BRBF last year, won't be there in 2026.
Yeah.
But I like his novels as well. Who else is good? Oh, there's this guy out of Detroit named Aaron Foley. He wrote this book called Boys Come First. It's about these three. So you know the formula that Waiting to Exhale uses. So it's three best friends in Detroit, gay best friends, three black gay friends looking for love in all around places in Detroit. And so that's a really good novel as
Ooh.
well. So I like Aaron.
Ooh, I'm about to
Good.
write that down because I'm from the
It's on
Midwest. I
Kindle
know.
Unlimited,
Same. I
y'all.
Oh, I
just pulled
know.
it
I'm
up.
from the
I'm
Midwest
about to send it to the group
And
chat right now.
because dating in the Midwest is a different monster.
it,
I'm
it-
from Cleveland. So if
okay.
they was looking for love in Detroit, God bless it.
God bless it be. And I wrote a blurb for that. I got to read an early copy of Aaron's novel back when he was first shopping it around and was about to get published. So I wrote a blurb for that. I really love him and his work, and he's a newspaper editor in Detroit right now. And then
Wow.
Fiona Zed is like someone who actually came up with me. Both of our first novels were published like in 2005, believe it or not. And so it's so nice to see Fiona Zed still in the game with her sapphic romance novels. So those are some of the people who I like. I tend to skew with queer stuff. I tend to skew more modern and contemporary rather
Hmm.
than going back because like and this has nothing to do with some of the historical or older, gay novels, but a lot of those, in history, it wasn't always the best for being black or gay and black and gay. And so a lot of the historical like gay fiction is kind of sad and tragic and
Mm-hmm.
and they didn't follow modern formulas around happily ever afters because that's not what they saw back then. So I know I should be reading actually, one James Baldwin book I did read that I liked was Giovanni's Room, but I don't even think that had a happy ending.
It
It
Um,
didn't.
it
It didn't.
don't.
No.
yeah,
No.
yeah. So I tend to skew more modern with, kind of uh, male and sapphic romance, just because, romance nowadays is about the happy ending and they're going to get there and it has to have a happy ending. It's so funny seeing, y'all were talking about threads earlier and some of the conversations that come up. And this is why I
Hmm.
think writers and readers need to read the legends because there is no debate about romance not having a happily ever after or a
Yeah.
happy for
Yeah.
now.
It's
Like
hard.
that's the rule.
It's on the
It's like
spectrum.
the
It's the
only it's like
rule.
really the
It's
Yeah,
the
only rule for
rule.
it's
romance.
the rule.
Yeah, you have
Everything
so much
else.
freedom to get to that happily ever after, happy for now. You can do what you want to do to get there, but you're going to argue about the one foundational rule. I don't
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
don't
like
like
it.
that.
It's
I
But
don't
not
Exactly.
like
romance
that.
without a happy
I
ending.
do love that you read a lot of sapphic because it reminds me of how readers tend to go into this thing like, I didn't enjoy it because I would never do this or do that. And it's like, you wouldn't get in a highway shootout on the bridge either, but you enjoyed that. And so
Exactly.
it makes me
I
very happy to
mean,
hear you as a gay man saying,
Mhm.
I love a good sapphic romance.
I
And
do too.
I'm not finna be no woman's boyfriend, but I love to read that.
Yeah,
Like, you don't have to want to experience it to enjoy a good book.
exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because I mean, that whole cliche, love is love.
Uh-huh.
But like also like I've been to some queer romance book fests and everything, and they're cool, they're fine and everything. But people really get in their camps about what they will read and won't read within queer reading circles. There's some people who will
Mm.
only read male romance and will
Mm-hmm.
never read sapphic romance. And it always confuses me and it makes me just wonder why. And of course, I think a lot of it is driven by sexism and internalized sexism and stuff like that. But it
Mm-hmm.
always surprises me, like, especially like people who read male romance who will not touch or pick up a sapphic romance. And I'm like, it all follows the same romance formula. And, we may not have the same experiences, but we can find ways of finding ourselves in any kind of book. Now, I might not find myself in a book about dragons and vampires and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
but I think about other humans, I can always find myself in something. And even I also read a lot of straight or heterosexual romance as well, because I think that there's so many good books out there. And, I don't have to see queer characters to feel like I like identify with them or can like or not like them or anything.
Do you be
So
shaking your head like these niggas is crazy? These straights is crazy. Girl, stand up. Get up. Um, Love is a contact sport is coming, right? And I want to know, who would you have play Rennie and Brent if it went to a film adaptation?
oh my goodness, that is a good question. And I don't know a whole lot of actors per se. I have some images of people who play NBA basketball who I think could play Rennie. But I don't know if I want to say any names because I don't want people to think that I'm making assumptions about anyone's sexuality or anything like that. But
Mm-hmm.
but there are people who I think who are in pro sports who if they ever decide to take some acting lessons could maybe play that. I just gotta think through it. I never think about the whole casting thing when I'm writing, and I know I should because there's always a question that comes up on podcasts and in interviews and everything, but I don't know who would play them yet. Like I gotta think about someone like who likes who wears little what they call them slutty low glasses and has twists.
Slutty little
Like
glasses
Right,
is
right.
to play Rennie.
Yeah. Okay. If you don't want to name some actual celebrities or pro athletes, let's switch it a little bit.
Okay.
If Love is a Contact Sport was to be picked up for an audiobook, who would narrate?
Oh,
Ooh.
Ooh.
oh crap, that's another one. Oh, I don't know all the narrators, but well, I'll tell you
I got
names of
one.
people or people who read. So I like the people who read who narrate Beverly Jenkins' books.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Um, I like the I like the people who read Kennedy Ryan's books. I don't know their names though,
Yeah.
and I
That's
need
me
to
That's
be
too.
studying them because it's like when you hear their voice, you're like, oh, I know I'm gonna like this because they narrate so well. Um, but I need to learn the names, and so hopefully at BRBF I get to be in some more
Oh, for
narrator
Yeah.
spaces.
the speed
Mm-hmm.
dating, the narrator speed dating with
Yes.
authors is coming up, which seems really
That's
fun.
so smart.
When they were casting for some of the books in Winston Hills, I was like, hey, these men are sexually fluid. And the producers was like, they don't care. They want to do a good job. They want
Mhm.
people to book them. They
Yes.
want to have a diverse resume. They don't want to just be boxed into urban fiction or urban romance or contemporary.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they want to be in all
Mhm.
these different genres. So I think you'd have some good fits for Love is
Mhm.
a Contact Sport. Hopefully we get to hear that happen for you.
That would be a nice thing to happen. And I know that with it's not just heated rivalry, but we've had other Black Gate projects be greenlit as well, But I know that, yeah, I agree with you. I think actors and performers, want to diversify their reels and their acting. And I think there's, straight and queer people who are willing to play queer. And so yeah, I'm open, and I've never had anyone had a serious conversation with me about adapting anything that I've written. Um, I I really think and thought that my 2024 release, One and Done, which is like this Black queer higher ed Bay Area set romance novel, male romance. I thought that would make a great series just because visually I could just see San Francisco. I could see all the different storylines, whether it's the university setting, whether it's the drag queen setting and that whole crew, whether it's, a bar scene and all the bar politics that happen between, neighborhoods and everything. But, we'll see. I know it's all up to chance and luck and whoever, is out shopping for new projects and everything. But if someone is watching, listening, or at BRBF, I'm totally open to those conversations.
I can definitely. When I was reading One and Done, I was like, this would be such a good series. Like for some reason, every time they were at the bar with all the drag queens, I was
Yeah.
like, this is giving Noah's Ark vibes.
Yeah.
Like those are the vibes I was getting. I was like, I could see this. I need Logo to get back to it because they were they were
Hello.
they were
Yeah.
doing really good things in like the late 90s and 2000s, and then shit just fell off.
Yep.
And
Do
I
y'all
need
still
them
hear?
back.
Is Logo still a channel?
I
And
don't
then
know if it's
that's
on
not even me being
cable.
funny because I was only watching RuPaul's Drag Race when it was on Logo, and now they done moved it to the other thing. So I don't know what else is going on Logo. I hope it's because queer people still need their own network. So I hope it is still around.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
Logo has some good shows. I just want to say that.
Yeah, I know they
mhm.
got like on Pluto, there's a Logo channel, but really it only shows Drag Race like 24/7.
And I have Paramount Plus for that.
Oh,
But
word.
anyway, love
Okay.
my drag queens.
Okay. So, I'm sure there have been moments when you felt like this industry didn't really know what to do with a Black queer romance.
Mhm.
How did you overcome that?
Yeah. You know what? I just push through and I just think and believe there's like a space and a market for the stories that I write. And it's because there are some Black and gay authors out there who are doing stuff. There's not a lot of us. And I
Mhm.
wish there were more of us who were openly, gay and Black, who are wanting to write stories like this and everything. Um, you know, I do reflect on, and I try not to get in a comparison game, like when I think about like white queer counterparts and the ways that maybe their labels and publishers support them, or the ways in which, general and broad book talk spaces and bookstagram spaces support those authors compared to, some of my Black counterparts and myself as well. I try not to get in that comparison game because I think there's room for all of us. But I do sometimes have this, how come I see the same like 5 or 6 queer books, mostly not written
Mhm.
by anyone Black or
Mhm.
Latinx, on a lot of the book talk spaces and bookstagram spaces. And the fact that I know, and I know we're forced to know because we're Black and we read Black, we know everything about what's out, what's available, whether it's Black or not Black. But a lot of people don't have that same luxury of knowledge. Sometimes I joke and say, there's Black famous and then there's famous, and we know Black books and Black authors and everything. But what keeps me going is just the love of writing, the love of story, the love of thinking that, there's someone out there who will resonate with or connect with or want to see elements of themselves in a story. Um, Even though I think that young queer people have a whole lot more options and information out there now. So like
Mhm.
no one has to be or stay closeted if they don't want to, but also understand the protection that comes from being queer. But I think that people being able to find and see themselves in literature is just really, really important. I think that reading is liberating. And I think that when you find characters and stories that you can resonate with, it just adds to your knowledge base and your sense of, what's possible and what you can do and who you can love, or that love can even be possible. A couple of weeks ago, I I made the mistake. I got in a reader space, and it was Black gay men, and
Uh-oh.
they were having it, and I was like, "Oh, I got to get out of this really quick." But they were having this chat about whether or not they would read Black gay romance novels because they didn't see them as being real or possible. This is just a small group. I'm not saying it's representative of all Black gay men, but it really discouraged me for a minute. That's why I had to get out because a lot of them were saying we don't think it's possible for us that we're ever going to find love, that we're ever going to find a partner, that we're just going to be alone for the rest of our lives and, having one-time relationships with people and everything. And that discouraged me for a minute. But that also gave me hope that there's hope that when people do get to romance, that they can see bits of themselves and see possibilities and everything. So I don't know. I think the world will be better if more men, gay, straight, undecided, read more romance. I think it will make the world so much better.
I agree. 1,000%. I agree with that.
Yep. Because I think it can show men the possibilities around being vulnerable
Mm-hmm.
and how to make someone yearn or how to accept the yearning in themselves, and not have to be so hard or keep like this wall up and everything. Um and and, and I think it teaches empathy, and I think romance just teaches people how to date better,
Mm-hmm.
and
It's chock full
everything.
of lessons on emotional intelligence
Exactly.
and vulnerability. And it's
Yep.
also one of those things, like kind of going back to your point where you were in that conversation, it's almost like if they saw it more and
Yeah.
allowed themselves to kind of escape into it, maybe it's not your reality now, but the thing I love most about romance, it kind of elicits hope. Like,
Exactly.
yeah, these are fictional people. I know that this is fake, but this could possibly be real for someone. And if I can see representation of myself in this fictional work, it kind of is like, okay, it maybe
Yeah.
could happen one day. Maybe not for everybody,
Someday.
but it could.
Absolutely. And so, I mean, that's what keeps me going and not getting discouraged is knowing that there's readers out there. What really encouraged me was in 2025 attending Black Romance Book Fest for the first time, seeing the amount of Black women who were true, sincere supporters, and who had actually read me before. And I was like, really? You've read me? Like, so I swear when Tati and I were like, we never had lines before at a book event, like I was like, wow, like, because when I'm writing in a little office like I am right now, I'm just thinking it's just me and the page. I'm not thinking about, who's in Atlanta, who's in Kansas, who's in New York, who's potentially reading a book. And so coming to something like Black Romance Book Fest, and you see people from all over the country and even the world who are reading your stuff, you're like, wow, this like the stuff we do, the books we write have impact
Hmm.
and people are actually reading them, and that keeps me going and that keeps me encouraged. um and regardless of how the business aspects of it go, or the kind of support that we would like to all have from our publishers or from online friends, etc., that's what keeps me going, is knowing that there's readers there who are finding something they can resonate with, and connect to. So that makes me happy. Like Black Romance Book Festival, I swear, is like it really is my favorite book fest. I had so much fun there, met so many readers. And actually, I think because of BRBF, we get our quarterly sales things like every 3, 4 months. Like my backlist the sales have been going up. Now I've only written 7 books, but it's really nice to see kind of that growth that's happened. And I really attribute it to attending and connecting with people at BRBF. So
Hmm.
I'm always going to be grateful to BRBF and the Black book space and everything, because I really feel like those are the true supporters of Black authors in general. And then especially of like someone like me who writes Black male romance. So
I
thank
love
you.
that.
I love that. Now, if you were to look ahead, what kind of stories do you feel like are still missing when it comes to Black queer romance?
hmm Um, I want to see. So as we all get older, and like Terry McMillan does as well. Like every time she writes a book, she writes around her age. So I say age appropriate writing. She's no longer writing 20 somethings and 30 somethings looking for love. She writes with each decade. So I really want to start exploring. All my novels now are people in their 40s. When I was in my 30s, they were 30s and 20s. But as I get older, I want to write more about those getting older and being
Mm-hmm.
gay. Um, you know, Something I'm working on right now is kind of an age gap, but it's not an age gap that's not appropriate. It's like someone who's like in his early 50s and someone who's in their late 30s or early 40s. That's
Sign
Black
us
and
up.
male. Pardon me?
Sign us up for that.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I'm working on that right now, and hopefully that'll be out in 2027. Um, I just got to get to writing on getting that done by this fall. And so yeah, that's one thing I'd like to see more. Is just I think that for young people coming up, I think it's important for them to see that there is life beyond like 25. So I work at a college and I hear all these students say, oh my God, I don't want to be 25, I don't want to turn 30, I'm gonna be old then. And I'm like, I used to say stuff like that too, but I'm like, there
Mm-hmm.
was way more fun life that happens after 25 and 30. And although adulting sometimes can feel like a scam and a sham and things like that. And we encounter stuff that we're like, oh, we only thought our parents and grandparents went through it. But there is so much more life beyond 25. And so I do get excited when I read romance now. It's about characters in their 30s, 40s, 50s. Maybe even seeing someone who's like lost a partner who's older and gay and finding love again in their life. And then one day, so Tati Richardson and I, when we were chatting once, she was like, Fred, I think you need to, since you like Beverly Jenkins so much, you need to l- think about doing some kind of Black gay historical.
Mm.
And she's like,
I would,
and San
There's a
Francisco is
market for
probably chock
that.
full of stories.
yeah.
And so I'm like, hmm. But it's the same thing. So Beverly Jenkins always jokes about how people say, but I hear the young writers say they don't want to do the research. And I'm like, that's the only thing that's stopping me is doing the research. But I'm like, I went to school and I work at a school. So there's so many resources available to do research that will make it easy. So I'm like, I probably need to take up that challenge of maybe thinking about a gay, Black, historical, set
Because
somewhere because,
Yeah.
Miss Beverly definitely said on the episode she did with us, because she's a good friend of the show.
yeah,
Just want to keep reminding everybody
y'all's
that.
besties.
Yeah, she absolutely brought up the fact that queer people existed, queer people loved in history,
Mm-hmm.
and so I feel like that's her saying we should tell that part of our history too. Like that part of
Exactly.
our history is important too, especially because so many bigots like to act like queer is new. Oh,
Mhm.
y'all just
Yeah.
woke up gay. No, y'all was definitely doing gay shit many, many moons ago, many, many centuries ago. Like y'all was tap dancing on tushy holes and
Mhm.
things like that. Like
They were
Oh.
doing
it
what,
was
friend? They were doing what,
Oh
baby?
my goodness.
yeah, I made it
They was
classy.
You said
Yeah.
tap
Classy,
dancing
not
on Tussie
assy.
Hole. I'm a type. That's
Yeah,
the show
classy,
title.
classy, not
Right.
assy.
No,
But
no, baby.
it's
The
just
show title gonna be tap dancing on Tussie Hole, cause that's what you said. Okay.
but it's true, like our history, like queerness is not new. It has existed as long as heteronormative behavior has existed. Okay, same sex attraction, things
Yeah.
that, like, it's not new, and I just think there's a lane for it in historical romance.
Absolutely. Like within this past month, I read, I can't remember which book by her. It was either Rebel or Wild Rain, where I don't want to spoil it, but people made arrangements back in the day
Mm-hmm.
in terms of arranging and pretending to
Mm-hmm.
have a heterosexual marriage when they were, I guess nowadays they call them lavender marriages, where people just make an
Yes.
arrangement for the public, but then live their own lives. And that was like when I read that in one of these recent books, I was like, oh, okay, Miss Bev, you're talking about what some people do today in terms of a lavender marriage, but they had an arrangement and they were willing to follow through with it back in the 1800s, just for the sake for them both to be able to live and survive. So I'm like, okay, so there might be a market, and I just got to do the research. I know every time I hear her Beverly Jenkins do an interview, she's like, the young writers don't want to do the research. I did the research, so they can do the research. So I'm like, I just got to do the research and think about it. But Tati Richardson has always challenged me to think about doing a Black gay historical.
I think you should, because I've read a few. I've read some really good ones, but they were written by women, and I am absolutely a believer in own voices, and so I feel like getting a Black gay historical romance from a actual Black queer author,
Mhm.
I just think that would hit especially well.
Yes.
Okay, challenge accepted.
Yes, I'll eat that
That
up.
might be 2028 or 2029.
We
That's
that's
okay. Do
fine.
the
We can wait.
research.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
We can be
Because
Do the
patient.
research.
I
Yes,
was
And
just
shout
on
out to
Threads.
you doing the research. I think
Yeah.
that that's good. Shout out to you for knowing that research needs to be done.
it does need to
Yes.
be done. Absolutely.
I was on Threads the other day, and I feel like I'm gonna mispronounce her name, but Tanavary Dew, the author of The Reformatory,
Hmm.
she out there writing a book now. She said, I'm out here doing research. I said, I know that's right, because obviously we know that authors used to do that before, but not a lot of authors talk about that now. Not a lot of authors do any research. So I was really excited. And she was like, bitch, I'm outside doing research for my work. And I was like, yes. Obviously, she didn't say that. I had summarized it. But
Yeah.
like,
I mean, like that's one of the things I like about like when I hear Kennedy Ryan do interviews or do talks at conferences, is how research is like, research is writing and that's work. And so
mhm.
interviewing people and reading books and everything is really important to crafting, true characters. And so um I'm a big proponent of always trying to improve craft, always trying to take a class, always, again, teachers pet me, I listen to elders, both their struggles and what they emphasize in terms of learning and improving. So, I that's just part of my own personal, ethos and ecosystem and everything.
I love that.
Okay, so I know we have discussed how Love is a Contact Sport will be coming out soon. If you had to pick three words to describe it, what would those be?
Oh wow. Um, it, I, it's probably the steamiest, sexiest book I've ever written,
Hmm.
thanks to someone who I met at BRBF last year who was like, Fred, we
Okay.
need to see more swords crossing in these books.
Shout
Well,
out to them.
booking
I
it
Yes.
with
love a
Erica.
sword fighter, okay?
She pulled me aside. She's like, Fred, I like your books, but we need to see more swords crossing, sword fighting. And I was like, okay, okay. So I thought about her when I was writing. So I would say it's a little steamy, a little sexy. I would also say there's a lot of yearning
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
so I try to think a lot about Beverly Jenkins and this whole idea of yearning in a novel and people wanting to get back with each other. And then I think about the other word is like just a second chance, and reuniting with someone who was part of your past, like 20 something years ago, and now you're able to find each other as grown-ups and see if what you had as college students could be part of life today. So, yeah, so for people who don't know yet, Love is a Contact Sport. It's a Black, queer, second chance, college reunion, male romance. And it follows two people who met during summer orientation at their university in the Midwest in Missouri. And they have a secret relationship, because it had to be secret because one of them was on the basketball team at the university, and the
Hmm.
other one was kind of the campus poster boy. and did like all the involvement stuff on campus, but they could only have encounters in one of their dorm rooms. But then 20 years later, they meet up at a college reunion event where they're both getting awards. And sometimes those old feelings don't die. And that's what Rennie and Brent get to explore in this novel as adults and as grown people in their 40s now.
I love mature romances. I can appreciate characters mid 30s and above, especially in second chance romances, because that's when a lot of times you need a second chance at love because you
Mm-hmm.
flubbed it up before then. So that brings me to this question because I think you do this really well in your books. How do you balance love, joy, and vulnerability, and then provide realism without it feeling kind of yucky and like
Yeah.
you do a lot of uplifting of the queer community, even having important discussions about, being out, being proud, um, taking control of your sexuality as you get older, and being honest that it's harder when you're younger and everybody has these expectations of you. How do you balance that in your books?
Yeah. So I'm so glad you asked that question. Like again, Tati Richardson told me, she's like, Fred, I like your book because it feels like grounded storytelling. Like, and I'm like, oh wow, that's a nice way of saying it. Grounded storytelling. And I really try to keep things set in some sense of realism, um, in terms of, how and this is just my own world and people I know, try to keep things grounded in some sense of reality because I think that reflects how most people live. Like most people aren't living, beyond the gates lies with a dramatic storyline every, 3 weeks or something like that. People live grounded everyday lives. And so that's what I try to keep present. The uplift piece is important for me. And this is just, from my own Detroit roots growing up, all my teachers and neighbors and postal workers and stuff were Black. And, uplift of who we are, no matter what our identities were, was just important. Learning our history, but then also feeling like anything and everything is possible in terms of who we are. So that uplift piece is important. And then and it's also there because there's a lot of stats out there around, a lot of the homeless or unhoused youth that we see on the streets
Mm-hmm.
are queer because their families have either put them out or they haven't felt totally supported in their family. So they just leave and, maybe end up in circumstances they don't want to be in. And so I like to always stress, whether it's in real life or in books, the importance of seeking some kind of higher education. And a lot of that is because, and it's just my own belief, I don't have any stats or anything, that, you know, a lot of queer people are going to end up having to take care of themselves. And the best way to be able to do that is to be able to get an education that can hopefully get them into a career path, that will hopefully get them on a path to economic mobility, to be able to take care of themselves. And so that's why I write a lot of characters who have either gone to college or finished college or in some kind of college setting, because I want, younger people to aspire to that one day. I do have a friend who's like, Fred, you write too many people who've gone to college, and most people haven't gone to college. So you need to write some characters who haven't gone to college. And so I'm like, I'm thinking of that's going to be part of this age gap story I'm working on now, and the opposites attract because one is a college graduate and one is not. And so I'm always thinking about that. But I think the love and the yearning is important, and um, so I just try to keep it all balanced and grounded and everything.
I love that.
It would help if I took my mic off mute. My bad. I was talking to myself over here. Now, this is a slight spoiler for the people who have not read it yet, but it's not no big plot point, so I don't really care. Listen, question: what the hell
Yes.
made Rennie date a goddamn reader? And tell the people why they should not do that.
Ah.
Because I was annoyed
That
from
is
the
a great
beginning.
question. It's not a spoiler at all. And it's so I was wrestling with this idea of I work in a school setting. I work at a university, and they always tell us. And so I borrowed one of the phrases I heard early in one of my training. When I was a younger professional, is
Mm-hmm.
we're friendly but not friends. Whether it's students, coworkers, fellow teachers, anything like that. We're friendly but not friends. And so I've always kept it in my head and everything. But I also thought, well, what would happen if an author, like a queer author, actually crossed that boundary with someone? Like what would that be like? And of course, it was really annoying for Rennie to get involved with someone who he met at a book event and who ended up just kind of being a tagger along, riding the coattails of Rennie, and things like that. And so um, I was just thinking about what would happen if there was an author whose, public life was, positive, but whose personal life was just a mess, in a lot of different ways. And that's how I came up with that plot point of, huh, what if Rennie's at one of these writer book conference events and comes across whether it's a reader, someone setting up AV or something like that. And, because of being vulnerable or wanting to do community service, picks this person up and tags them along and everything. So that's where I came from.
Okay.
But yeah,
I guess
a
that makes
very annoying
sense.
character.
Yeah, he was absolutely
Yeah.
that.
I
I
mean,
was like,
because
okay.
no one wants to, like, no one wants to be the one who's, working, maintaining a household, going out doing things, and then coming home and having a partner who's been there all day not do anything. And so that's not really a spoiler, but it is something that we all can reflect on in our lives is,
Mm-hmm.
you know, there's usually I'm like people shouldn't get accolades for taking out the trash. That's just like a given. Someone shouldn't get accolades for cooking a meal once a month. How about we
Yeah.
True.
do it together a few times a week? People shouldn't get accolades for taking care of their own kids. And ooh, he or she watched
Okay.
kids on Saturday. Like
He
that should be a
babysitting. Who is
given.
he? That's their daddy. Their daddy
Exactly.
can't
Exactly.
babysit them.
That's
He's
He
a
the
made
same thing
them.
caregiver.
He's
I
being a
said.
parent.
He's being a parent.
Exactly. Or even even after splitting up, and this is what I really loved about the character of Brent was even after splitting up, and starting his single life, uh, he made sure that when he got a place, that he had a place where his kids could come and visit him and have their own space in his place.
Let me
And
sit up for this.
and to me, I just love that because I'm like, that is the kind of like masculine energy I want readers to kind of see. And if male readers, gay male readers, I want them to see that, and even straight male readers, like,
Because it's a lot of single fathers with one bedroom apartments and you
Right.
trifling. Your baby sleeping on the
Ooh.
couch. What you
Ooh.
mean?
Don't
Talk
even
about
got
it.
enough clothes at the house. The mama got to
Talking
make a
about
bag
send
every
something over.
time.
What you mean I gotta send stuff over?
Why are you packing
right.
snacks for your son to go to his daddy house for the weekend?
Yeah, don't even know the baby favorite food.
I saw a lady pack
Talking
up
about he
a
wouldn't
whole
eat.
3-day weekend for that nigga
Talking
to go to his
about
daddy house.
he wouldn't eat. Yeah, because your baby don't eat beanies and weenies. He be at his mom house eating pot roast. Now he done came
Like,
to your house and he eating out a can. Talking about he didn't want no ravioli. He sure didn't.
No good food.
Chef Boyard, hell
Ooh.
no. I'm not eating that.
Chef Boyard, hell no, it's kind of crazy.
Okay,
Oh, I love
I make a
it.
note of that one because that was fun.
Yes.
Yes.
Y'all got some good one-liners going.
That's the menace. That's the
Right.
menace who always does that.
Okay.
Okay.
So this
So
was something that was lightly mentioned in the book. Um, do you feel there are more women writing romances because they see a market for it, or versus genuinely wanting to craft a good story?
Great question. I think it's a mix. One, there's definitely a market, and there's definitely a market of readers who love romance, and I love that there's a market and everything. Um, and when I went to my very first queer romance book fest last year. It was up in Portland, Oregon, and I was looking around the room and I was like, oh, there's like, and I'm just exaggerating, there's only five male presenting people here, and I'm one of the five, and everyone else is a woman who's writing. And so I have no disrespect toward women who write male romance. There's a market there. That's where some are finding themselves in terms of their own journeys of sexuality, and that might be the way in which to, kind of dip their toes in the pool, so to speak, and everything. So I have no disrespect with that. I do have a strong respect for, both personally and academically, for own voices. I think own voices is really important. Um, whether it's Black people writing about Black people and writing Black
Mhm.
romance, whether it's, men who want to write about men. But I know, ultimately anyone can write whatever they want. It's just in terms of, are they doing the research? Are they doing the sensitivity checks? Are they thinking through reality? Um, um, and are they staying open to reading sapphic lit? Again, going back to our early conversation, when I was at that queer romance fest, and I loved it, I had a good time there. It was actually a week after BRBF, and
Oh, you was busy.
yeah, that was a busy 2 weekends in a row. But yeah, this interesting tug of war between who reads romance, who reads sapphic, and actually Mika James was right next to me at this romance fest. And every time people would come to my table, I was like, you need to go check out Mika James's stuff because she writes some great sapphic romance with Black characters. And so, I was sending people over hers. I'm like, these people will just walk by a sapphic romance author at a queer book fest. I'm like, no, you all are gonna go meet Mika. I'm gonna tell you what her books are about. I'm gonna tell you about Love and Sports Ball and why you need to read it,
Mhm.
and everything. And so, yeah, so this is some interesting dynamics. And I don't have anything against, women who write it or um, read romance. I just want everyone to be able to have appreciation for everyone and really have an appreciation for own voices too. Own voices is just important, and a lot of people study it and talk about it and everything. So um, that's kind of where I am on that. But people can write wherever they want.
Yeah.
Are they writing it well? That's a question.
Mm.
Oh,
Yes,
Oh,
definitely.
And that's not tearing down anyone.
Oh no,
no,
yeah.
but it's a
no, no,
it's a
no.
No,
valid
but
question.
it's a
It's
fair
Valid.
point.
it's a valid
Yeah.
statement to make. If you are gonna dip your toe in a pond that you don't necessarily live in, it needs to be
Mhm.
phenomenal.
Mhm.
Or you should just stick to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to,
Mhm.
Yeah.
truthfully.
In the
And
book of
there's
TLC,
nothing
yes.
wrong. Yeah, good TLC, but there's nothing wrong with you saying like, make it good. Make me be like, well, damn,
Yeah.
So no shade there. So you did a collab with Chaz Lamar Cruz. In case you forgot, and Busy ain't the half of it. Are there any collaborations coming down the pipeline that you're excited about? Any authors you're talking to? We nosy. We want to know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't have anything currently, but I have ideas. I would like to work with Chaz Cruz again. He was actually one of my former students when I worked at Cal State LA, and now he's a poet and writer and writing TV stuff and everything. We had fun collaborating on those two novels, and I wanted to give him an opportunity to open a door and get into publishing. And so I was like, Chaz, when my publisher Boltros Books reached out to me, I was like, Chaz, you want to co-write a book with me? And he was like, yeah, let's do it. And so, I walked him through the formulas and how we would write together and everything. So those were fun to write. I like co-writing with someone. I don't have anything on the horizon, but I do have an idea. Like, how everyone says that every musician has to have a holiday album. I feel like every romance author at some point has to do a holiday novel.
Mhm.
And it
Yes.
doesn't have to be, I mean, it could be Christmas or winter holiday, but it could be any holiday. So I do have this idea about, I've been thinking about what would a Kwanzaa focused like something that takes place over the course of 7 days, the 7 days of Kwanzaa, or even if it's over several years of 7 days of Kwanzaa, what would that be like? And so it's just a thought that's percolating. And I don't know if it would be like an anthology where people like take a day, like one of the values, and turns it into a short story, if it'll be a romance novel. But that's like an
Oh,
That
idea
would
I
be
have.
good,
So
Yeah.
I think.
so
Yeah.
And maybe it's like queer authors, both
it could
sapphic
be,
and
Yeah, that
yeah.
them.
would be
So it's just
good.
an idea, and of course,
Something,
I put it
yeah.
out there so someone else can take it too if they want it. Right now, they're listening to it right now. But yeah, those are things I'm percolating in my head. But I don't have any set collaborations, but I'm totally open to do it. I like working with people because the writing can be so solitary. We're just alone in our offices or bedrooms or living rooms. So it's nice to have someone on a dock with you and you're writing together and everything. With me and Chaz, with our books, we both took on a lead character. So that's how we were able to make it work. And then we would read and workshop each other's stuff. And, there was dialogue. Chaz would update me or update the dialogue. Like, this is how my character, who I'm writing, would talk and everything. But yeah, it was fun. I like collaborating. And not a lot of people do it as much not a lot of people do collaborations anymore. I think that would be nice to see more of.
I just wanted to say congratulations. You have officially made it to my book wish list that I pray about every week because I need that Kwanzaa anthology.
Mhm.
I actually need it now that you've said it. So
Yeah.
welcome. If you ever get the
Yeah.
inspiration, it's because I've been praying about it.
And if she
Let's hope we get a
randomly
dozen
starts
of them out
popping
there.
into your mentions, like, how's that Kwanzaa anthology
Mhm.
going?
Okay, I
You're
know.
gonna be like, was it congratulatory?
I know. I guess since I put it out there, I got to put it on my list along with
You gotta put it on
the,
your list.
Put it
It's
on the
the
list.
gay
gotta.
historical, the black gay historical.
Yep.
Okay, we
Right.
racking them up now.
I
We
love it.
are.
I love it.
You got a list.
Historical, the Kwanzaa anthology, hmm
Mhm.
the audio books. Let's just put that out
I
there.
We're
know.
That
just
the
gonna speak it
And
audio
all
that'll
into
books. We're
existence.
just gonna speak it
Right.
all
Yes.
into existence.
absolutely. And who knows? Maybe I'll meet someone at BRBF who wants to collab on something.
Mhm.
So
You
Exactly.
never know,
when we get in those
honestly.
spaces, we
Yeah.
will. Yeah,
Y'all authors
That's
get
a
to talking
great
to each
Big
other.
story.
Y'all find new besties
Mhm.
at events and
absolutely.
stuff.
Uh-huh.
hmm I'm
Good collab
excited
there.
for the upcoming BRBF. I really am.
Yeah.
I gotta think through what to wear and what to buy and get my
Everybody talk about
table
what to
together.
wear. Y'all stressing me out.
There's so many outfits for
I got
was
some
it 2 days?
outfits. I got
2
outfits
Okay.
days.
already.
It's two
And then there's
days, but I got to be
the
dressed.
daytime fits and then the
Right.
nighttime fits
Nighttime
and
Mhm.
fits. And then I gotta make sure I look good when we do our little podcast interviews and stuff. Girl, it's too much.
Right. It's a
Gotta have
lot.
comfy
It's
shoes
It's too
on,
much.
cute comfy shoes.
cute, comfy shoes. It's so much.
At
Yeah.
least we at the
It's-
army, because all them outfit changes, I'm gonna need to be close.
Right.
Right.
Come on, diva.
Just pop up. No,
now the
I love
Omni is
that
bigger than where
idea.
we were last year, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
way bigger.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
Significant. We're gonna have a ton of space. Like it's
Okay.
significantly bigger than the
Because the signing
JW.
room I liked, it was nice and intimate, but it'll be nice to spread out in the signing room.
Mhm.
Yeah, we gonna have. There's gonna be
Yeah.
lots of
Oh
space.
yeah, because they said everyone can fit in there this
Mm-hmm.
time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
That'll be good. Oh
Because I tell
yes.
you
Have
that
more
setting
space.
up and taking down your table in 2 hours for the next crew, that was whew. So yes.
Oh, that'll be good.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned earlier that you've published 7 novels. What advice would you offer new and up and coming Black male authors that want to write Black and M romance?
hmm well, one, I totally will open up myself to anyone who wants to bounce ideas, get in contact. I appreciate the art of mentorship. And so if anyone is listening, watching, now or in the future, I'm open to being DM'd and contacted to be a mentor and to listen, serve, read, and things like that. I would also say, like, so there's a lot of people who talk about what they want to do and then they do what they're going to do. And I often hear friends and people say, I want to write a book one day. I want to write a book. And I'm like, just do it. Like I grew up like not making announcements about what I want to do, and I would just do what I wanted to do and kind of let the results show for itself. So I would say just write. Like even if you have those
Mm-hmm.
20, 30 minutes a day, everyone's got a phone these days. They can jot some notes in or record a voice note or something about what they're thinking about writing. So I always say that consistency part is really important in terms of, if you do what's that cliche? If you do a page a day, at the end of the year, you'll have 365 pages. You'll have a novel if you
Yep.
can do one page a day. So I would say that consistency part. I would also say networking, and not just networking for transactional purposes. Like if you do this and I'll do this, or, befriending people just for some kind of gain or benefit. But I would say networking not just up and down, but like Issa Rae used to say, like network across with people who are coming up with you, because you all are going to be the network that's going to be supporting each other all the years that you're in, like the writing business together. And so I think that networking piece is important. Um, like you all have said and demonstrated in your interviews with the legends, listen to the legends and read the legends in whatever genre you're writing in or want to write in. For romance, you got to read people like Beverly Jenkins and Kennedy Ryans and Brenda Jackson and Donna Hill, and you know you got to read the legends just to kind of see whose shoulders we stand upon. Um, those are some of the things I say, but then you know I would also say just find your own voice too and try not to write like anyone else. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and just write who and how and what you are and what you know. And don't necessarily try to copy anyone's style or feel, um, because the way you write is going to come across authentically with the people who eventually read you, and everything. And then I would just listen to, podcasts about books and writing. Anytime anyone does an online, like a YouTube or anything, just watch them and learn and observe, and especially listen to their people authors talks about the business. I think that's really important. One thing I try to tell people is that, for the unless you're 100% self-published, you know no one should be charging you to, do a whole lot of stuff unless you're running your own publishing company and doing everything independently yourself. But I say listen to people about the business aspects um, so that you don't get scammed by anyone, because there's people who are opportunists who would want to take advantage of people
Mm-hmm.
who want to be published or who want to be in the author business, and they know that people want it and might take advantage. So I would say just listen to people and try to learn as much as you can about the business and just be open to learning. um, I think that's really important, and not to be closed off to, well, I'm not going to listen to what they say, I'm going to do it my way. Well, you know we got to learn from everyone. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, those are some of my tidbits, but try to write something every day or read something every day.
Heavy on the read.
Yeah,
Heavy
That's
on the
great
read,
advice.
it
especially
is.
if you're not writing. Read something in between.
Yeah.
Please, I'm begging you. Because it's sometimes you can just tell when authors don't read other books, and even like their online social presence. Sometimes they
Yeah.
be like,
Yeah,
oh, I can't
I
believe this.
know.
Oh, all of a sudden this character name is coming up, when it's like that character name has been around for 30 years. So
Okay,
like,
we've been reading
Yeah.
we've been
Some
reading
just want
about
to repeat
Donovans and
names.
Drakes for years. They're
Donovan,
not
Yeah.
new names.
Lennox.
Creeds, Ezra's, everybody is out here, baby. So y'all are not like, y'all not creating nothing new. That's why I'm begging you, crack open a book
Oh
that
my
is
God, this
not
old
your
lady
own.
voice is
That's a
making me
deep
Cause
ass voice, I tell you what.
Right.
now y'all know I sound like Barry in the mornings. Don't do that. Anyway, I think Bree had wanted to ask you something, because y'all are being real rude to me.
Oh, so we'll change the
oh my
topic.
goodness.
Yes.
But anyway, I know we can expect to see you at BRBF, and we're excited for that. But where else can the readers expect to see you this year?
Okay, yeah. So I'm on all the socials. So just, they people can look me up at Frederick Smith, author, or Frederick Smith Love is a contact sport and something will pop up. Um, I'm gonna be at oh, I think I'm gonna be at something called Romancing the River City. That's something up in Vancouver this year.
Okay.
There's something called Fall in the Books that's happening in LA, like Orange County in November 2026. Um, I'm at something called Romancing the Midwest in Milwaukee in I think that's in June or July of 2026. I need to put all these announcements of events up on my socials and on my website and everything. More on my
Right.
socials.
Yes, you do.
I need to I need to be better with my
Yeah.
website. But on my social, I need to put all these up. So yeah, so I'm concentrating on going to a lot of book fests this year where I feel like it's a better so for a lot of us authors, we're paying for everything out of pocket when we go travel, when we do these
Yeah.
events, when we set up our tables, even when we buy books from our publishers to sell, we're out of pocketing and stuff. But I feel like I get a better bang for my buck going to book conferences like
Mhm.
BRBF, etc., because that's where thousands of readers come to
Mm-hmm.
get together maybe more so than going. Although I really I want to add more independent bookstores to any
Mhm.
work I do this year. So I'm working on that right now. But I'll be at quite a few book cons in 2026, and wow, 2027 is already booking up, and I'm like, I
Okay.
want to stay inside 1 year, but 2027 is actually looking busy now too. And I'm trying to get a book finished by October 2026 so that it's ready for June 2027. So I try to get on that schedule of getting my books out in June just because I work out of school and I'm out
Okay.
during
Mm-hmm.
the summer so I can do all my
Mm-hmm.
book stuff like book
Yeah.
tours and book events in the summertime. So that's what I try to be on so I can keep a balanced life and it doesn't interfere too much with my 9 to 5, the
Yeah.
university.
Now, this is
Absolutely.
just a quick question. This ain't got
And
nothing
I'm
to do with
excited to see
nothing.
you all in a few months too,
Yes.
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 We are excited. Do your students
like
know
in
that you're an author?
person. Yes, I tell my students like every time I do I go introduce myself, I tell them, oh yeah, I write romance novels, and this is what they're about, and I encourage students to read romance novels, and in fact, I like I'm doing this in one of our like identity cultural centers right now in the office there. So I had a late night at work. But recently I brought over about 40 or 50 books that I'm done reading. And I just start putting them
Mm-hmm.
on the shelves here in the space so that people can have access to some romance novels and start reading them. But yeah, my students know, my coworkers know. They think it's kind of fun and kind of cool that I have this life outside of the university. They're like, people know who you are. And I'm like, not a lot of people, but some people know who I am, and I'm like, I do book events, and they think it's nice, and so yeah, it's nice to be transparent with them about what I do in the day and what I do on the weekends and at night. Like they like it, so I'm like, maybe here I'll have an influence on someone becoming the next generation of romance novelist or something.
Yeah.
I love that. I could tell from One and Done. I said, this man knows academia. He be in all in the accreditation and looking at stuff in academia, all that stuff.
I hope I did
But
it in an accessible way that didn't bore people. Like, but yeah, yeah.
no,
I think
no,
that's my
yeah.
lane right now. I think that so like before One and Done came out, like you know how they say, well, my publisher, was like, well, you kind of need to, we got to figure out what we're gonna do with you in your books and everything. And if you're, we'll take this next book, which end up being One and Done, but we got to see something different in your numbers and everything. And so I was like, oh my God, my back is against the wall. I gotta write the heck out of this book and make it feel really good and really authentic and really, dig into those romance, tropes and genre and everything. And so One and Done really was a career revitalizer for me. Um, Both in terms of say it's now my biggest selling book of all of my books that I've had, and I'm hoping that Love's a Contact Sport will be even bigger. But I really feel like right now I'm on a career trajectory of growth in terms of my romance writing, because I really was, back against the wall, like, ooh, if they don't take any more books from me, I gotta find a label, and then I gotta find an agent, and then I gotta do all that kind of stuff. And so One and Done really kind of saved my literary career. And now, because of One and Done, my backlist is selling, really well now. And so One and Done is
Yeah.
kind of a renaissance book for me. And it's really changed the way I look at writing and author life, and it really saved me in a way to be able to continue publishing and writing now. Because now, I'm selling okay now. I get
Yeah.
nice little every 3 months. I get a nice little check, and I'm like, wow. I One and Done was actually my first book that actually earned out on the first like quarter. I got like a sales report. That had never happened before. And I'm like, oh, this is what it's like to earn out and make money from like a book and everything. So that was really nice. And so I'm always grateful to the romance community for embracing One and Done, embracing me, and then looking back at now my backlist, which they say it's like that whole thing. They say it's true. Like your backlist is what will help you keep, like, I don't know, money coming in, because people
Mhm.
Yeah,
discover you and then they want to read everything.
Yeah.
Mhm.
absolutely. A lot of people get money from you from
Yes.
that backlist.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
And you're booked and busy this year, sounds like, and it sounds like it's going to be like that for 2027 too. So we are so excited to see you at Black Romance Book Festival. You can see all of us at the festival if you got your ticket. So
If you
Got
got your
ticket.
ticket.
And if you
Now, it
don't
might
have your
be
ticket by now, we will catch
It's
you in
yeah.
2027.
Oh wait,
literally, it's
fresh pre-orders are open for BRBF. Go pre-order, please.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
Love is a
pre-order.
Contact Sport is up for pre-order as well. One and
Yes.
Done is
Mhm.
available in the pre-orders. Go pre-order people books, okay?
Yeah, and the backlist too.
also,
And the
yes,
backlist, yeah.
pre-order CM Barnes and DH Renfro as well, because we're gonna always tell you about the
Yes.
resident people here. Don't act
Yeah.
like that, Candace. So we're gonna make sure that the people is again pre-order Candace or CM Barnes, DH Renfro, and Frederick Smith. I don't really give a damn about what else you do, but make sure you got them people on your list.
No, but because pre-order, because I'm a new author, so I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not gonna have hundreds of books for me. I don't have hundreds
That's
of
also a
books
thing.
money. I got you pre-ordered, so I could pre-order it, so I could order your books. But I'm not coming with 200-300 books. I'm
Yeah.
too new for that. Too new.
Ooh, I made that
Can't see
mistake
it.
last
What
year.
is it?
I had to bring a second suitcase, and I had to get charged extra for bringing all those books. I should have shipped them or something, but pre-order,
That's fair.
yes.
That's not gonna be a reality this year, though.
Mm-mm.
Them books are
Right.
It
selling.
ain't.
You leaving with no books. That's what we're saying.
Mm-hmm.
You leaving, them books
Yeah.
are selling.
Yes.
Okay,
Or
the
taking
books are
home other
selling.
people's books. I bought so
Yes,
Yeah.
many
that
books from
other
other authors
suitcase.
last
I
year.
did. I cleared up. I did my pre-orders. I listen. Loving y'all authors is expensive.
As
Mm-hmm.
Y'all are
hell.
an expensive habit. And yes,
You
I'm
are a
excluding
budget.
myself. Y'all an expensive habit. Get your pre-orders out the way. We can't wait to see you, Fred.
I can't wait to see
You've
you.
just been such a huge supporter, and so we are very excited to love on you in
Yes.
person.
Yes.
And you're gonna see
I
who the
got to
real
see you.
menace is. It's gonna be the ass shaker. It's not gonna be me.
Now you
Oh,
know y'all tit
all
for
right.
tat
Y'all
with
are
us.
tit for I was gonna say that's one and one A and one B. Let's not play that game this evening.
Who the A? Who
that's
the
very
What
A?
true.
are
You.
you?
Oh,
You are
fuck
the
y'all.
A.
It's quite
And
clear.
if we doing that, Jaleesa number 2, I don't want to hear the bullshit. Okay, you and Fran is neck and neck with us. I don't want to hear y'all
1C.
shit.
Jaleesa 1C.
Exactly.
We
She be trying to be a
hair
quiet
types.
sleeper.
Now we hair types 1A, 1B, and 1C.
Hair
Oh my
types is
God.
hilarious.
Cause y'all are
Oh
awful.
my
But
gosh.
again, make sure y'all come see everybody at BRBF. We will let you know where the Lit Library is going to be. Bree and Diamond are going to be holding that down. So y'all better come talk to my girls.
Y'all better
Okay, we're gonna
come
have
talk to
questions for the
Bree and
readers.
Dr. Diamond, for real.
We have
Yes.
questions for the readers. We're gonna have questions for the authors. So listen, if you still live by that 1940s rule that gay people can't have sex, don't listen to the show no more, bitch, because we not doing it. Okay, we is
How
a
did
proud
we-
representative
How did
of
we get
MM
there?
romances. Now
I'm
listen,
so-
I'm closing it out. So
And wait, no.
we-
and why are we saying
no.
this now?
we,
It's a
we
little
Because
weird.
whoa.
I'm trying to tell the people, shut up and let me get my point out. Now I'm trying to tell the people that
It's gonna be some
we
sword
is
fighting.
pride supporters. Okay,
Mhm.
I want more
Be
sword
who
fighting
you
everywhere.
are. Be who
For
you
your
are in your
pride,
pride.
exactly. Now can I bring you a
Also-
rainbow cake and sing that song to you, Frederick? Never mind.
Oh,
No,
what?
don't worry.
It's okay.
She's
Never
not bringing
mind.
you a rainbow
I'm
cake.
sorry.
Don't worry.
I just want to say, be
Too
who
far.
you are.
No,
For your
honestly, because
pride.
M books be so sexy. They be so sexy.
They
The
do.
character, it be sexy.
Yeah.
It be like, oh,
Hmm.
okay.
I just be
I
wanting to
like
watch.
this. I like
Yeah.
this part. Okay.
That is so funny.
Also, y'all are not low because those little studies they be doing on people porn, a lot of people they searches, your searches.
Them searches be very telling.
You know,
We were
this is
doing,
my
y'all. We
fault.
was doing
This
so
is my
well.
fault.
We
I'm
were
gonna go
doing
ahead. Thank
so
y'all.
well.
Thank
It is
y'all
your
for thank you for listening to the Lit Library. We'll come back the next episode. We are going to be back to our original programming of the books of
Book
the month.
of the month. Books of the
If
month.
you want to participate in our conversation before we read this book, we are talking about we don't talk about Carol. Okay, that is the book of the month. That's the book of the month for March. So read Frederick's books and then also read We Don't Talk About Carol because bitch, we are spoiling everything. Now,
Everything.
we'll see y'all later. Peace.